would you like to go next?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Collies Without Borders. I'm Kayla, and today I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I have added to my van to make it an excellent overland road tripping vehicle for my two adventure dogs. I'm currently coming to you from the Yukon, way up north, and yeah, after about a year of van life, I think I've got all of my pro tips sorted out for our dog gear. So let's look at it. All right, so in front of me, I have 9.5 of the 10 items that make my life in a van with my two dogs much easier. One is pretty big and heavy and in the van. I'll show you that one last. Barley is here to help me demonstrate. And this video is going to assume that you've also got all of the stuff, maybe a pared down version of it, but you've got the normal stuff that you would have as part of a dog owner. So you have your bowls, your toys, basic grooming stuff, you know, all that good stuff that you already have because you have a dog. These are just things you may want to consider substituting in as you're moving into a van with your dogs. So in no particular order, we're just going to kind of start from the left and move over to the right. First thing up, I have a Kibble Pet Silky Coat Miracle Dematter Leave-In Spray. I picked this up at a TJ Maxx. It's lasted me forever. It's nice and small. And what I do is basically I will use this to spray down Barley as a dematter when I'm brushing him. As you can see, he's got a really thick coat, and especially this time of year, early June, he's blowing his coat, so he's getting a lot of brushing. I will do an entirely separate video on grooming in a van, but this is something to definitely consider adding to your kit and potentially getting rid of your normal shampoo because you're probably not swinging by the groomers the same way, and you're almost certainly not bathing your dogs at home the same way you might be doing normally. So definitely consider some sort of leave-in dematter. I also use it on Niffler, even though his coat is much shorter, because it smells nice. Next up, we have a Mud Buster, and sorry I'm waving around at mosquitoes, it is the Yukon. Bark app suggested this to me on Instagram. I've already featured it on my TikTok. Basically what this is, it looks like a blender bottle, but on the inside, it's full of these little silicone nodules. And what it's made to do is you fill it about halfway with water, you put your dog's paw inside, squish it around, it'll get the mud off of your dog's paws. Really nice when you're living in such a small space. You don't want those muddy paws coming in and out all the time. Next up, Ryobi battery powered fan. I picked this thing up at Home Depot. They had it on sale, so it came with 2 batteries and a charger for about the price that normally 2 batteries would be. And it's been an absolute lifesaver. It's got a low mode as well as a high mode. I can charge it off of my solar panels on the van, and what I have found is that on the low mode, it'll go all night. So I use this to keep the dogs extra cool. Especially if they're in their crates and aren't near the overhead fan in the van. I use it for myself. I use it to dry my clothes. It's overall just a really great van addition, but particularly to help keep the dogs cool. Really nice. Riley, over here. Down. Next up, this is a Biothane leash. So if you're in the dog community, you're probably really familiar with Biothane. If you're not in the dog community, you've probably never heard of it. So this is from Trust Your Dog Muzzles. My friend Amy Craven makes these. She's out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Super awesome lady. This is a 15-footer. So I really like this length. It is long enough to give the dogs plenty of space to roam, but short enough, you know, I've got a 30-footer and a 50-footer, and those are a pain in the butt to deal with. And this one does have a hand loop. On my other Biothane leashes, I prefer not having a hand loop because that allows the dogs to drag it. But for this one, I've got it attached to a locking climbing carabiner. And that means I can clip it to my hitch, I can clip it to the front of the van, I can clip it to my grab bar in the van, or I can loop it around a tree, clip the carabiner there, and voila, I've got a tie out for the dogs. Again, it's really nice to have 15 feet for this. I do have a 10-footer as well. Usually I'll give Barley the 10-footer. He's actually on it right now. And Niffler gets the 15-footer because he likes to move around more. Back to the Biothane though. The reason I like Biothane, it's kind of similar to like a synthetic leather. It's like plasticky, rubbery, and it will shed water, mud, all that stuff really, really easily. You basically just dunk it in water and it comes out clean really, really easily, as opposed to like leather, nylon, cloth. All of those other leashes are a real pain in the butt to keep clean, especially if you're spending a lot of time outdoors with your dogs. Next up, I made a custom magnet here, and I'm just gonna put my finger over my phone number. And I stick this on the side of both sides of the vehicle, so that if anyone can see the dogs inside the van, they've got a little bit of information. So this has a cute graphic of a border collie on it. And then it says, "Don't mind us. This van is climate controlled and runs off solar power, so the dogs stay comfortable in all weather. They do get stressed out by people peeking in their windows, so please give them space. They need their rest. If you are concerned, please call my phone number." I have had people kind of come over, peek in the van, and then pause and read this and presumably decide not to call the cops. It has been really, really nice. So far, I haven't had any issues leaving the dogs in the van in all sorts of weather in all sorts of cities up and down North America, and I credit it partially to this magnet. Next up, no spill dog bowl. For the first 6 months that I lived in the van, just had a normal dog bowl, and it was driving me nuts. I was constantly spilling. Even my waterproof flooring, I was having a hard time keeping that dry enough. I was putting towels down all the time. It was just a pain. It was a mess. This no spill bowl is really great, as you can see here. So it'll lose a little bit of water when I fully invert it, but I can tip it back up and there's still water inside. So it's not perfect. Obviously, if your dog has it full, if you've got it full and your dog flips it 100%, you're going to have a little bit of spillage, but it's not going to be the same sort of mess. Really nice. Then we picked up this sprayer. This is probably, this is the newest edition of the items on this list. So it's basically like a garden sprayer. It's a premium home and garden half-gallon sprayer from Flowmaster. We picked this up at Home Depot?
Yep.
Yeah. We picked this up at Home Depot. It was Jason's idea. We have used it to wash our feet. We took a shower with it yesterday. Jason likes using it to wash dishes, and we've used it to spray down the dog. So you basically fill it with water, pump it up, and then it's got both like a spray, like a thin spray. What is that called?
Adjustable nozzle.
It's got an adjustable nozzle on it. Again, the dogs don't love it. If your dog doesn't like getting bathed, this isn't going to fix it, but it does make it a lot easier. If your dog is really messy, this is going to make your life easier. Again, I'm kind of assuming you already have a dog towel in this intro. We do have one of those as well to make sure that we can dry the dogs off. All right, Bradley, take it. Take it. Go on. Scooch. Go on. Down. Thank you. All right, so this is the half. When I said I've got 9.5 of the 10 items, this is a crash-proof seatbelt from Roughwear. I have this for Barley and then a crash-proof crate for Niffler. If you can fit a crash-proof crate in your vehicle, please do that. It is absolutely the safest way for your dog to be riding in the car. They do take quite a bit of space, which is really tricky in a van. That's why I don't have two. But they eliminate the issue of, with the seatbelt, you only have 2 seatbelts in most vans. So if you've got a co-pilot, like I often do with Jason here, there's nowhere safe for Barley to ride. I am planning on installing something like climbing anchors in the back on the bed so I can anchor Barley down there. And that way, if we were to get into a rollover crash, he at least doesn't become a projectile. Roughwear, you can check this out on their site. They've got all the specs on it. Again, I know it's not perfect, but it's something that's really important for me for peace of mind on these big trips. Next up, food tote. Many of you probably have something like this at home if you're most dog owners have something like this. But it keeps the dog food nice and from going stale. It also is kind of a nice square container that you can stack stuff on top of, move it around easily. You're not dealing with a big bag. It is much easier, in my opinion, to have something like this. So when I buy my big 50 or 35 pound bag of dog food, it goes straight in here rather than trying to keep a bag around. So next up, we have this paw blanket. So I've been seeing these things on ads on Instagram for years and finally got one when I moved into the van. So what it is kind of like a faux fur sort of thing up top. And then on the back, it's a waterproof layer. So I have this tossed over my bed so that if the dogs do hop up when they're wet, they're dirty, they're muddy, and all of my safeguards against that have failed, I have something that's protecting my comforters. This thing does get pretty stinky. It gets pretty gnarly, but at least it's not on the rest of my bedding, at least not as much. It has been really, really nice in the van. And last winter, Barley, scooch, lie down. Thank you, buddy. Here. Last winter when I was in Breckenridge teaching skiing, this, because it's waterproof, was super duper warm. I actually had to kick it off most nights, even though I didn't have a heater running overnight in Colorado. So before we go, I am going to show you Niffler's Crash Proof Crate, just because that is one of my favorite things. And then we'll just do a quick run through of kind of the Stage 11, which is those other things that you probably already have. As I said, I'm going to do a full grooming video, and I'll probably do a full kind of adventure dog kit video at another point. But these are kind of the bare minimum sorts of things that I have found really useful living in a van with your dogs. All right, so now we get around to the back of the vehicle. Open one door and open the other, and there is Niffler. So he is in a Vario cage crash proof crate. I had someone very generously give this to me because they no longer used it for their dog. So it's got a nice little opening. It looks like a Velociraptor cage, but Niffler really likes riding in it. I think it's cooler and quieter for him in the back. So he's got a little water bowl, he's got a bed, he's got all sorts of stuff in there. And when it's hot, I will put the fan on him in there. I like this over the Ruffland crates because it's got so much more airflow. You can see it's got bars all along all of the different sides. So even when there's stuff kind of loosely packed around it, it keeps him nice and cool. And again, these are some of the best crash proof crates on the market to help keep him safe in the event that we got into a crash. Alrighty, so last up here, I just have a quick primer on some of the other basic things that, again, most of our dog owners are already going to have, but I find really useful in the van. So this is kind of a bonus because I said 10. This is past 10. Lights. Clip these onto the dog's collars. I like having two different colors so I can know which dog I'm seeing. This is Musher's Secret. It's a paw wax. I use it when the dogs are spending a lot of time in ice or snow or on really hard rocks. It keeps their paws kind of supple and prevents them from icing up. It's really, really great. We use this instead of booties a lot of the time. Bell, super great on adventures. Pack-a-Paw rescue harness. You probably don't need this unless you're doing quite a bit of relatively serious outdoor stuff with your dogs, but we do, so we've got it. And then very quick primer on our grooming kit. Little microfiber mutt mitt, nail clippers, and a variety of brushes because unfortunately I have two dogs with very different coat types and Barley requires quite a bit. So I'm Kayla, this has been Collies Without Borders. That's Barley, Niffler's in the back, Jason's walking around. You can find out more about us and the work that we're doing and the travels and all that good stuff if you follow us. Collies Without Borders on Instagram and here on YouTube. Bye!